Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special episode of the Essays in Espresso podcast. Usually, these are kind of trash, but this one's going to be pretty good because I was put in charge of it. With me today are my co-hosts, Spoken. How are you?
That's me.
That is you. Stop talking. I'm going to introduce Daniel now. Daniel, how are you?
I'm doing great.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I have the flu today, so I'm probably gonna stop talking like 20 minutes in, and it's just going to be the two of you. Today our topic is going to be whether or not you can play a game wrong. This is a topic I thought of because I got a comment on my Sekiro video, and I was like, this is actually an interesting conversation. And I'm sure we'll get into that later. But for now...
Was it an interesting conversation in the comments? Because that usually does not happen.
I have wonderful commenters. Like, my commenters, they're absolute angels. The worst I get is like somebody linking me some Holocaust denial websites.
I was just going to say that you have a bunch of neo-Nazis in your comments too.
No, with the I had no mouth and I'm a scream video that has a bunch of terrible comments.
Well, to be fair, it's not Holocaust denial. They're just refuting the numbers. But I maintain
that is literally Holocaust denial.
It's the same thing.
Look, there's two sides to every issue, but not that one. Listen, I'm opening up the Google Docs now, and I see, Daniel, you've been quite a busy bee. Can you summarize everything you've done in 5 minutes?
I can try.
All right, he's gonna try. What is this Metroid Dread thing you're talking about? Is this that game that made David Jaffe lose his mind?
Yes.
You already talked about this.
Same. Well, no, we talked about the controversy with David Jaffe.
No, we talked about Metroid Dread.
Are you sure?
And you told me I'm supposed to play it because it's hard.
Fogan, we had this conversation before while you were getting coffee. I asked Daniel whether he had already talked about it.
Okay, well, I'll just say I beat the game. The game is good. It's really, really good. It's really challenging and a lot of fun. Yes, go play it, Boken. You'll like it. It's up your alley.
Will I like it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Probably not. I hate Nintendo. They keep demonetizing my videos. But then their games are pretty good. So.
I mean, this was made by Mercury Stream, so.
Hey,
is it Stream or Steam? I always forget.
Don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't think it matters though, because Nintendo rules with an iron fist.
That's true.
Like you could have like a complete shit developer, but like if it's an IP that they care about, they will be like breathing over their necks to make sure that it is immaculate. And Metroid Dread is immaculate. Really good game. Very hard, but good. They actually recently updated the game with an extra hard mode where you die in one hit. But they also introduced a rookie mode for people that are struggling with the game. So that's nice.
Well, that is nice. What is this Chaos, the official video game?
So, yes. I have been playing... It just came out as of this recording, like literally on Friday. I like to call it Chaos, the official video game, but mere mortals are referring to it as Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin.
I remember.
This is basic.
I remember this trailer now.
Yes. So, memes aside, it's actually a fun game. It's basically, what if we took Neo's gameplay and shoved in the job system from Final Fantasy? And that's pretty much the game. And if that sounds like a fun time to you, then I say to pick it up. It is a lot of fun. The cutscenes are unintentionally hilarious. Like the very first cutscene of the game is the main character just like walking to a town, and then he's like the two main like dudes, I guess, come up behind him, and this is the first time that they're meeting, and they're like, "Oh, our crystals are vibrating," and then the main character is Jack. He's just like, "All I know is that I must kill chaos," and then the other two are like, "Yeah, me too," and then they just bro fist.
Yeah.
And then they
I
just
saw
become
that.
friends.
That's the first cutscene ever?
There's a little bit before that, but like it's one of those like you do a thing where it's like an in median res where it shows you like something that you do 75% through the way of the game. You beat like a boss.
I don't like those.
Yeah, it felt kind of silly and pointless, but whatever. What was really fucking hilarious was right after that, when the game shoves the tutorial down your throat, Jack is like walking through this field, and then Frank Sinatra starts playing. Like, absolute lunacy, this game. I like it is so baffling. I find it really fun and stupid and endearing, but I only can say that because the actual game itself is a lot of fun to play. If the game was shit, I wouldn't find any of this endearing or fun. I would just be like, "Oh my god, this game's a dumpster fire." But luckily, it's a good game. Like the combat is good. Leveling up the different classes is fun. Upgrading the skill trees is fun. You can customize your combos. You can change what abilities activate depending on like how you're inputting a combo. It's quite in depth. It's really good. I think it's a surprisingly good game.
So where does the combat stand on a scale, let's say, between FF7 Remake and Neo?
Much better than FF7 remakes. Much better.
Well, no, not better, but where is it on a scale from those two games?
Oh, it's much... this, like, almost feels like it's Neo 3, basically.
Okay.
The only thing is there's no stamina management. Instead, there's MP management. And there's also a shield gauge as well. So... there's different things that you have to keep an eye on. I guess to kind of differentiate itself. But like it is very close to Neo, much closer to Neo than it is FF7 Remake. This is made by Team Ninja.
Yeah.
Even the way that the levels are designed and the mission structure is literally exactly the same as Neo, where you do the mission the first time and then when you're done with it, there's like a remixed version of it that you can do again, and it's like the lighting is different, and you'll fight like a different boss at the end. It's like there's so much Neo in this game, it's not even funny.
I mean, that does sound pretty good. Like not even that it's Neo, but having a stupid bad story with still enjoyable gameplay, because that means there's no downtime, right? Like,
yeah, pretty much. Like, and the cutscenes are very brisk. Like the cutscenes are very short, so you just get like a couple of minutes of hilarity, and then you're back in the action.
Can you skip them?
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, and I'm at the point where I've unlocked all the basic classes. I think there's like 3 tiers of classes. So like you have all the basic classes, like swordsman, duelist, pugilist, mage, thief, ronin. I think there might be another one, but I have all those unlocked. And as you work your way through the skill tree, you can unlock more. So I've also unlocked white mage. I've also unlocked samurai, and I think I'm about to unlock knight and a couple others. So it's a lot of fun. Like I'm always switching between classes so that I can level all of them up, so I can unlock even more classes. And leveling up the classes isn't just like when you level up a class, your stats don't go up. Your stats are more so dictated by your gear. When you level up a class, it unlocks more passive buffs, but it also unlocks new moves. So that allows you to change your combo tree and it also there's also like if you hold down I think L1 or L2, it also brings up like one of those. It changes your face buttons to different attacks. So there's a lot to mess around with. The only thing is you can only have 2 classes at a time. So you can bring like, Lancer and Mage with you, but that's it. But if you go to the bonfire, you could switch out whatever you want. But yeah, I like it quite a bit. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Good stuff.
Yeah, sounds
Thumbs up.
all right.
It is quite all right.
All right. You also have this Dune movie.
Yeah,
I
I finally saw it.
4 months after the fact, you're finally ready to join the conversation.
Yes, and I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. My dad also liked it a lot. He read the books, and he was so happy to see a Dune adaptation that did the books justice. He was telling me about how there was like a sci-fi channel like mini series that was terrible.
You know, James McAvoy was in one of those. They did Dune, and then they did Children's of Dune, and James McAvoy was in that.
I did not know that.
Was that in the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the 90s.
Early 2000s.
I think I've seen that. Might have been the first time I've seen naked breasts on TV.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah, I remember that scene vividly.
I'm sure you did. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it other than it was really good, but I do feel like I was ruined watching the David Lynch version first.
What? No.
Yeah, because there's like certain things where I'm like, well, I already know what's going to happen. Granted, this version did it way better in almost every way, but like I was still like, oh, this is the part where he gets the tooth and then he like breathes on the dude and like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, the other way around is actually very good because the Dune movie is like the Lynch movie is basically incomprehensible. But if you know the story, you can somewhat follow from like if you know the story from the current one.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I had the opposite. So I was just like, I think I had a worse experience than if I would have had the opposite effect. But whatever, it's still a really good movie, and I'm looking forward to part 2. Good shit.
I think when we did the commentary, I couldn't remember who Sting was playing. He was playing Fade. That's like a character from the book. Why didn't I know that?
I don't know.
I think I was just distracted because it was Sting.
He came out in like a metal thong.
Yeah. What did you think of Dingus as Paul? The actor.
Dingus?
Yeah, he has like a crazy name. His name is
Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet. What do you think of him as Paul?
I thought he was fine. I mean, I don't know if it's fair to compare him to Kyle MacLachlan though. I feel like Kyle MacLachlan was, I don't know, he was so weird in that role. So then to kind of compare him to this guy, it's like, because I feel like I don't even have like a good grasp of what this character's supposed to be anymore.
He's supposed to be like, yeah. I don't think they've done this character justice in either interpretation. I'm hoping.
Well, you don't know the second movie yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping it lands better next time. But if it's just another movie where he's just like, oh, I'm stoic and I'm looking from the slits of my eyes and oh, it's so quiet, then I hate that actor. He's like Tom Holland, but
That's
for
not the
people.
Actor.
I think it is the actor.
He's a good actor.
He's bad in he doesn't get the character. He can't do the character right. They should have gotten, like I said, you want a Hayden Christensen. You want somebody with like an unnerving violence and hatred and anger behind their eyes. That's not this guy.
Sure.
I mean,
he's still a good actor.
He may very well be a good actor, but he's miscast.
Maybe.
I think.
Maybe it was
Okay.
bad directing. Maybe Villeneuve doesn't get Dune, whatever.
I kind of doubt that. I extremely doubt that. It seems to me like Denis Villeneuve, he only seems to
You know,
adapt
can we
things
stop
that he.
like just always making fun of like foreign sounding names? It's
You
so
did it
fucking-
just now! You made fun of Timothy Chalamet's name.
Yeah, because I was making fun of you.
No, I didn't know what his last name was. I knew Timothy.
I know you refused to say it.
Okay, I'll just call him DV instead.
Can't they just have good names? Like, can't it just be like Vinny? Why does he have to have like a name like Timothy?
Vinny Pastor.
Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis.
Dennis the Menace.
Asa, could we pronounce your name?
No, but if I were an actor,
You see?
I'd pick a real name. I'd go like, hello,
Real name.
hello, my name is George Clooney Jr. No relation.
I mean, if you guys knew my real name, you would probably have a hard time
I
saying
know
it.
your real name. I've sent you. Yeah, I have. I remember when we were all chipping in for those streaming services. I sent you money on Patreon. No, on PayPal.
Oh, okay. I guess you do. I guess you have seen my full name.
I have seen your full name, and I'll tell everybody what it is after these messages. I'm doxing my friends. Please don't remove
Fuck,
that from the edit.
I totally forgot whatever fucking point I was gonna make. Thanks, Spoken.
You're welcome.
You derailed me so hard. I'm like, what was I even gonna say?
You were saying maybe Denis Villeneuve doesn't get Dune, but you don't think that's the case
Oh.
because he only adapts stuff he gets, or something.
Right. He only seems to adapt stuff that because he's only adapted Blade Runner and Dune, and
No, he
I
did
mean,
Arrival
those
too. Arrival is based on a comic, I think.
is it?
I think so.
Okay. But the point is, he only seems to adapt things that he has a connection to. Like, you know, Blade Runner. I can't imagine there were any like execs. They were like, we're the children love fucking Blade Runner. We got to make a fucking sequel to Blade Runner. You know, like or Dune. Like there's no way. He's directing these movies because he pushed for them because he cares about them. I don't think that he's just doing it just because.
That's possible. It
Denis
remains to be
Villeneuve.
seen, though.
Denis Villeneuve also adapted a university shooting. So that's that.
Yeah, well, he felt a connection to that. He was like, "Oh, this manifesto, I get it."
Yeah. He did actually. Like it's pretty realistic, but it has those character moments where you get what the guy felt, and then what the victims who survived felt. It's really good. It's called Polytechnique. It's only
Okay.
like 40 minutes long.
One day I'll watch his movies. His movies, I hear nothing but good things, but I'm like, man, I don't want to watch Jake Gyllenhaal's face.
I mean, I'm sure he's done movies without Jake Gyllenhaal, so
Yeah.
He has 2 movies with Gyllenhaal, but they're both pretty good.
Hey,
what's your beef with Jake Gyllenhaal?
I like Jake Gyllenhaal, but he reminds me of Jared Leto, and I hate Jared Leto.
I also hate Jared Leto, but I still like Blade Runner, so you could
Well,
you can
he's
ignore.
yeah, sure, but Jared Leto is so fucking bad in that movie. He's so he's god awful in that movie. He's like, replicants are the future of mankind. He's just like mumbling his fucking dialogue. It's just fucking weird.
No.
Yes,
I mean,
he's terrible in it.
That's like one of his better performances, for sure.
Oh, it's one of his better performances, but that's not saying much.
Okay, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were gonna say something.
Yeah, my favorite performance of Jared Leto's is when when Edward Norton was smacking his teeth out in Fight Club.
No, you're gonna say something before that.
Oh,
I think.
about what?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. I was gonna ask you, well, who's this James Bond character, and why do you have so many movies of his here?
Aha, yes. So James Bond is International Man of Mystery.
That's Austin Powers. No, he's
Yeah,
the
I know.
international.
Yes, I know. Isn't that great? line, international man of mystery.
Hey, can we talk a bit about Austin Powers? Those movies, I think
Yeah.
those movies probably hold up.
They do.
I
I
think-
watched them fairly recently.
Yeah?
Do they?
Yeah.
I watched them a lot as a kid when I probably shouldn't have.
I mean, I was watching with a friend who is also a huge Austin Powers nerd, so we were laughing anyway. The good thing is, like, the third movie is really fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But we were getting drunker as the evening was going on. So like I had the most fun with the third movie. But it's like really the first one is kind of quaint. They try to have like this small emotional message at the end and shit. And then the third one is just like fecal humor and pies to the face. And I was laughing so fucking hard, man.
I remember there's like one scene in the third one where where Austin Powers literally just pulls down Dr. Evil's pants, and he just makes like a dumb joke about like, yes, but now I see your ass. It's just something stupid like that.
Like the whole
He's trying to make a fourth movie. That's not gonna work.
Oh no, stop.
That sounds terrible.
But here's the thing. It might be good. See, what I genuinely want, I would love for him to do like a gritty Austin Powers movie. Play it completely straight. Do like a Daniel Craig James Bond movie, but it's an Austin Powers movie.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
That might actually be pretty
That
good.
would be pretty good, but that's not gonna happen.
Nah, it's gonna be a 60-year-old Mike Myers trying to do the jokes he did 30 years ago.
Trying to recycle the jokes and referencing all the things you know.
Yeah. Also, Vern Troyer isn't around anymore.
What I think is really interesting, though, is those Austin Power movies are more than likely, especially having seen it again recently, heavily inspired by Casino Royale, the 1967 version.
Oh, that's a nice segue.
Yeah, it is one of the only non-canon James Bond movies produced. It wasn't made by the EOE group. It is fucking weird. It is a extremely loose adaptation of the book. They even joke about it in the credits, where they said like that they took suggestions from the book, and it's less of a James Bond movie and more of a what's this guy's name? Peter Sellers. It's more of like one of his comedies, and not a very good one, if I'm being honest. Like, if you compare this to like Pink Panther, if you compare this to some of his other like really good comedies, like this is not that good. Not much else to say about it. Not very funny. Has aged terribly. Just can be completely ignored.
Hey, do you guys think that? So you guys remember when Steve Martin did those Pink Panther movies? Is Steve Martin a funny guy?
No.
I don't think so either.
He's really not.
I same with Martin Short. People keep telling me he's funny, but he's just not funny.
Yeah, Martin Short's also not very funny.
Who? God.
Martin Short. He was a Canadian comedian.
Make me fucking look up these dumbass actors.
You've seen The Three Amigos?
No.
No? That's like the only funny thing those guys have ever done.
Have you seen 30 Rock? They're both in... No. Martin Short, I don't think he's in 30 Rock. He's in Arrested Development, though. As the least funny character in the entire show.
Don't know. No, I have not seen that.
Why haven't you seen Arrested Development?
I don't know.
You'd like it.
Would I?
Yeah.
I mean, probably,
good.
yeah. I'd probably also like The Office.
I don't know about The Office. I hear it's like for people who like Friends. I don't know.
So mean.
Okay, so
I mean, we have like a German The Office ripoff. It's called Stromberg.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, I know exactly what the type of humor is.
Is it like one of those Danish shows where it's like just crass and that's the? Did you ever see Clown?
No, it's not crass at all. It's just awkward,
Oh.
White people humor.
Oh, it's fucking British crap. I hate that. Ugh.
It's like people in a shitty office situation taking themselves too seriously.
Ugh. I fucking hate European media. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, say what you want about American media. At least there's some good stuff every now and then. It like trickles out of the fucking sewage pipeline every now and then you get something good. In Europe, it's just like, how about a show about a man who's like really sad and he enters a lot of situations that are quite comedic. So for example, he's going to use the bathroom, but then he's out of toilet paper and he has to go outside and get more toilet paper, but he still has his pants around his ankles. Quite humorous, don't you think? That's every fucking European show. And it's not funny.
Yeah, it was a great summary of European shows.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad European stuff,
Oh,
On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
He did it. This is Christopher Nolan's favorite Bond movie. I've never watched this.
Oh my god,
This is
it's
like
terrible. It's
Oh,
terrible.
That's the one with Lazenby, right? The only
This
one
is-
I've seen out of these old shitty movies.
So, yes, this is the one with George Lazenby. I went into this movie expecting something good. You have no idea. There's so many Bond fans that talk this one up as like, oh my god, this is like this low key, the secret masterpiece, one of the best Bond movies. Blah, blah. These people are out of their fucking minds. This movie's fucking terrible.
With the
This is the one-
mind-controlled women and the she lift? That's the
Yeah,
good one?
It's terrible.
Okay, dude.
Like, so like honestly, watching this movie made me appreciate Sean Connery so much because Lazenby has no fucking screen presence. Like, none.
it made me appreciate the subtle depth and the nuanced acting of Sean Connery. And that's saying
You
something.
say that. You say that, but like, for real though. Lazenby feels like a nothing of a man on screen. He's just like this empty canvas that's just like dragging across the fucking screen.
Lol.
Like no energy, no charisma, just blah. And the plot of this movie is fucking terrible and makes no sense. Where fucking Blofeld is using this weird, like hypnosis, like plot on these women. I don't even understand why he's doing it to these women. Like,
Ugh.
it makes no
Isn't
sense.
he sending them out as assassins or something?
It's some shit like that. I
What a
don't even
plot.
remember. What is it?
I said, what a plot.
Yeah, it's bad. The one thing I will say in this movie's defense is it's shot quite well. Like, there's actually some really nice shots in this movie. I was surprised by how clean it was. Like, it just, was. There are some shots where I was like, oh, that's interesting use of colors, or it's a really cool angle. That was all good stuff. But like, the plot of this movie sucked. Lazenby sucked, and the ending more than anything else. Like, I could have forgiven some of the dumb shit in this movie, but like the ending could have been great. Like, it could have genuinely been like, wow, okay, they ended it off with a bang. But like, they fucking ruined it. So the ending of the movie, like they've been building up, not really, but they've been trying to build up a romance between Lazenby and some chick. It's a really bad romance. It's just like really bad, shallow. But he gets married at the end. And there's a scene where Blofeld and one of his lackeys do a drive-by shooting and kill her. And it's just this really quiet scene where Lazenby is, coming to grips with the fact that she had just been shot and killed. His wife that he just married has now just been killed in front of him. And when they bring down the credits, they start blaring the fucking Bond theme. Just like super loud, just like burn it, and her dead corpse is still on screen.
Imagine they did that. They did that in Casino Royale, where he's like, the bitch is dead. Da 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 da. That would be.
Well, they did end
gosh.
Casino Royale on like the theme, but it was a completely earned scene where they did
There
it.
was another scene where he is tracking down some evil
Mr.
henchman,
White.
right? Oh,
That was
Mr.
such
White,
a good fucking
Oh yeah,
scene.
the guy who betrayed him. That's right.
Yeah, that was such a good fucking scene. It was like, oh my god, it is James Bond. They can make good Bond movies, and then they just didn't. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair.
No.
Well, we'll get into that one soon enough. But yeah, Her Majesty's Secret Service. Like, I could have forgiven a lot of the dumb shit in this movie if it wasn't for that ending. That ending, for me, just like, fuck this movie.
Would you call it On Her Majesty's Secret Service?
Service. All right, next one up. Because Lazenby was a fucking asshole, like that, not even joking, he was just being a dickhead. He grew a beard and was just like, yeah, fuck you, Cubby Broccoli, fuck you. Ugh. They were like, okay, I guess we'll bring back Sean Connery for Diamonds Are Forever. What I find really weird is people unanimously are like, Diamonds Are Forever is the worst Sean Connery movie. Diamonds Are Forever is terrible, blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't know. I don't feel like it's not a good movie, but like, I don't feel like the quality of this one is like substantially worse than the other ones. Like, people act like it's so fucking terrible. And I'm like, no, this is about on par with You Only Live Twice. Like,
Is it better than On Her Majesty's Secret Service, do you think?
I think I'm a bit biased because I really hate On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I mean, I preferred this. I could tell you that for a fact. I mean, they didn't have there's no hypnosis subplot, or there's no like. Yeah, it's a dumb movie though. Like, I think if you don't take it seriously, it's dumb fun. Like, it's just, you know, whatever. It's pretty whatever. That's how I feel about it. Yeah. I mean, it's not as over the top awesome as Goldfinger. So I guess in some sense I do consider it like one of the worst Sean Connery movies. So I get, in that sense, I kind of agree, but like at the same time, people make it out like this movie's terrible, and it's like, again, not that bad. Like, when you compare it to the other movies, it's not that far off.
Didn't they do one? You talked about it, like the one where he's like pretending to be Japanese.
Yeah, that's You Only Live Twice.
Yeah, that's You Only Live Twice. Like, man.
I mean, there's no scene like that in this one, at least.
Like, look. Back in the day, it was okay to be racist, but even then, like, oof, that was a lot.
I will say this though. Between these three movies, You Only Live Twice, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and Diamonds Are Forever, what makes them very fucking confusing is that Blofeld is played by 3 different actors.
Don't they contextualize that in the movies as he gets plastic surgery?
Diamonds Are Forever does introduce that idea.
Okay.
But it's still very confusing because in You Only Live Twice, Bond, he's face to face with Blofeld, right? But then On Her Majesty's Secret Service, they act like they've never seen each other before. And then Diamonds Are Forever, you know, Bond is like chasing after him. So it's like really confusing. The continuity is just like all over the place.
Have you seen the one with the what do they call that thing on tops of houses? Not a roof. Not a roof. No, it's that thing that the smoke comes out of.
A chimney?
Yeah, have you seen that Bond movie with the chimney?
No, I think that's a Roger Moore movie.
That's a weird.
I haven't watched any of the Roger Moore movies as of yet. Although I do plan on it. I plan on watching all of the Bond movies at some point. So I will get to them.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna jump
50 years. No.
Yeah, just about. We're gonna jump to Quantum of Solace.
More like Quantum of Solace.
Hey,
Oh.
I already made that joke.
You did?
Yeah, on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah, and that's why I was continuing it.
Oh. We'll have to do it with SKYFALL too.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Well, to me, this movie was more of a quantum fart. Yeah. I would describe this movie as frustratingly stinky. It was edited really poorly. This movie is so aggressively just frustrating to watch because of the editing alone. I feel like if the editing was better, that would bump this movie. That alone would bump up this movie a few notches, because like the editing is fucking terrible, particularly during action sequences where it's just like cut.
Yeah.
And I have like no idea what the fuck is happening.
And you know, the thing is, like, this movie was famously made during the screenwriters strike. But
Yes.
I think the story, this is like okay. I maintain that Quantum of Solace is an okay movie. I don't think, like, the writer's strike probably heard it coming off of Casino Royale, but like it's an okay story. Like it's not great, but it's a serviceable action movie. The issues with it are not because of the writing. It's fucking the editing, and it's the fact that the bad guy is a weird little frog man, and like James Bond just needs to get his hands around him, and he's dead.
Yeah. It feels like Daniel Craig could just like
Snap him in two.
look. No, I was gonna say like he could just like look at him the wrong way, and the guy would just shrivel up and die.
Yeah. Also, did you know that the plot of the movie, where they're going to like buy up water reserves in the Arabian desert or something, and then they're going to increase the price to make a lot of money and make people suffer? Yeah. That actually happened in real life, like a couple of years after this movie. And like the bad guys in this movie, they're like doubling and tripling the prices. In reality, the price went up like tenfold or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that is kind of shitty. Where the real life people were far worse than the fucking villains in the movie.
Yeah.
So I would say like this movie actually has a lot of really cool ideas, but the execution is really bad. So like, the way that they treated one character in particular really pissed me off. You guys remember from Casino Royale, the older gentleman, he was a little portly. He was helping out Bond, and towards the end, they think that he betrayed Bond when he actually didn't.
Yeah, that was Mattis. Was that his name?
Madison, something like that. Mathis, that's his name. Mathis.
Oh yes, because Mads Mikkelsen, he lied to Bond and said that it was him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he comes back in Quantum of Solace, and there's a scene where he dies in like a really weird way. Like his body is just found in Daniel Craig's trunk, and the police are like, "Oh, what the fuck? We have to take you in." And then he gets caught in the crossfire. Blah blah. He ends up dying, and he gives this like really nice little speech to Bond of like, "Hey, you need to learn to forgive yourself. You need to you have to forgive Vesper. You know, this is destroying you. You know, you need to move on." And how does James Bond reciprocate this? He after Mathis dies, throws him in the fucking dumpster. He just throws his body in the fucking dumpster. Now I saw a video defending this movie, And when it got to the scene, the guy was like, "Oh, this is a really misunderstood scene. The point here is that Bond is trying really hard to put on this mask that he's uncaring and that he can just treat everything objectively, but this is clearly him going too far at an attempt to cover up for this." And I'm like, I understand all that. That doesn't take away from the fact that it also makes him extremely unlikable. Like there is no need. There is no need for him to throw his friend, his literal only friend in the fucking world that he's ever had at this point, and throw his body in the fucking dumpster to get across this one point. It's totally unnecessary.
Hey, what about the black guy?
Felix
from
Leiter?
Westworld? Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't I don't think they become friends until because they only had that one scene together in Casino Royale at the gambling. They kept I feel like they should have had Felix Leiter and Bond go on a mission together at some point, because he kept showing up as Bond's friend, but it was never because he's also a good actor, and I think he and Daniel Craig have good chemistry. So it's I want to see them together. Why am I watching Daniel Craig go up against this weird guy from this weird frog man in Quantum of Solace?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. And I think that this movie would have worked better if a lot of it was just him and Felix going on adventures together. That would have been great.
Man, whatever that actor's name is, who plays Felix, he's in the new Wes Anderson movie, and he has his own little story there where he is narrating the plot, and he has the greatest narration voice I have ever heard. He's also in the new Batman Bogan. Oh.
Yeah.
More reason to watch it.
What an awesome voice, man.
His voice is not so good in the new Batman movie, I would argue.
Okay.
But we can't spoil that, apparently.
No.
What is his name? His name is Jeffrey Wright or something?
Don't know.
Oh well. I guess
he's been around for a while. And I didn't know about him until Westworld.
Yeah. Anyways, Skyfall.
All right, so yeah, Skyfall.
Is it better than Casino Royale? Yes or no?
I don't know. I like both of them very much.
Oh, Daniel. Oh.
Yeah, I kind of flip-flop. I've seen Casino Royale and Skyfall twice at this point because I like them both so much, and I almost never rewatch stuff, so that should tell you something. For me, they're kind of tied. I don't think a lot of people will fight me on this, but I think that Casino Royale and Skyfall, at least based on what I've seen so far, are the absolute best Bond movies by far.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, but it's hard to compare them to the old movies, I feel like.
Yeah, sure. I don't have any I don't have any nostalgia to Bond, and there's no part of me which looks at those old movies and goes, well, the trends of the time or anything like that. I have no affinity for them. I would be very comfortable in saying I just like these ones. I just like the recent ones.
The only other
Timothy
Bond
Dalton.
movie I can think of that comes close is GoldenEye.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, GoldenEye.
But for me, GoldenEye, I'm not sure if it's just nostalgia because that was the movie when I was growing up.
Yeah,
And,
I think it
I
was.
mean,
but by
I
itself, it's just a great movie as well. But it's tonally very different.
Yeah. I mean, I watched GoldenEye for the first time recently, and I still had a lot of fun with it. I still thought it was a good movie. I think most of its failings, quote unquote, is less to do with the acting or the story, and just the effects just haven't aged very well. It feels very 90s.
Yeah, I think its failings are that it feels very 90s, and they cast Alan Cummings in the movie. He's another one of those actors I don't like. Did you guys ever see?
Yeah, isn't that Boris or whatever his name is?
Yeah, Boris. I hate that
It was
guy.
What?
the greatest
I love Boris.
the greatest death scene in all of cinema.
I'm fucking invincible. Dude, that guy was great.
Did you guys see Tomorrow Never Dies? I think that's
Yes.
I think that's an underrated Bond movie. It's not a
That-
masterpiece,
That is
but I think
News
it's good.
one, right?
Yeah,
With the
That's
yeah.
newscaster?
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
I really like
I have
that
not
one.
seen it since I saw it in theaters, so I don't remember anything about it.
Is that the one with Michelle Yeoh?
Yo,
Yes, I think so.
Michelle
Yeah.
Yeoh. Yeah. Yeah, that was all right, but I don't know.
You know what's funny is I saw a documentary about James Bond called Everything or Nothing, and Pierce Brosnan says that the only Bond movie he vividly remembers is GoldenEye. The other three he says were a blur. But yeah, Skyfall's fucking great. Skyfall is also like immaculately shot. Some of the scenes in this movie were just jaw-droppingly gorgeous.
So I
Like,
rewatched this yesterday in preparation.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that was my biggest takeaway again, is like the cinematography and the colors are so fucking perfect. Like it's all those deep yellows and then the blue comes in.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. And then that whole scene in China or Shanghai or whatever it is.
I hated
Yeah.
that scene.
What?
What?
With the
Yeah.
fucking mirrors and like the images everywhere?
Yeah, I
They
hated
look
it.
beautiful, and you're
Yeah,
just
shut
watching.
up.
You're
You're
just
just a
watching
hater.
two shadows fight.
Yeah,
Dude, that scene was fucking amazing.
Yeah, like that's
Like, oh,
some of the most
Oh,
creative
oh.
cinematography in like an action movie.
I really love how like the guy couldn't tell that Bond was there because of all the glass and mirrors and because of the advertisement. Bond was just like literally hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Like,
But you're not-
so cool.
But you're not sure if you can see him or not. Like Bond himself isn't sure, and it's just this small second of confusion.
of tension, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I fucking love this movie. I think it's great. I really liked how it was kind of tackling this idea of it kind of like in a more meta sense. Like, is Bond still relevant today? Like, does Bond still matter? Do these, should they even be bothering with these movies anymore? And it kind of comes to the conclusion of like, no, Bond is important culturally, and it's like this really hopeful kind of outlook of like, yeah, maybe we've had, maybe there are aspects of Bond that is outdated, but like Bond will survive. Bond is a cultural touchstone, and it should persist. And it's kind of shown through Daniel Craig being a bit older. He's an old dog, but he's learning new tricks. A lot of the movie is like talking about like the passage of time, just like it kind of strips away everything, but at the same time, this is something that will beat that out. It will persist.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
That's what I loved about this movie in general. It's just like the script. It has some minor plot holes, I guess. Like it's not perfect, but in terms of like
Whatever.
yeah. Who cares about that?
in terms of just showing a spy movie where people just constantly fuck up because they're not like capable of fighting the villain on his own terms. And like this, it's just one cock up after the next in this movie, and Bond keeps slipping, and M keeps slipping, and then at the end, people make fun of the Kevin, what is it called, Kevin Alone at Home,
I
Home Alone.
don't know.
Home Alone, yeah. I think
Home Alone.
I think in German the title translates to Kevin Alone at Home. But anyway, people make fun of this Home Alone finale of Skyfall.
No, that's the best part of it.
But it's so perfect. Like, get away from all the fucking computers. Make him come to you and make him physically confront you, and that's when you maybe have a chance.
Yeah.
People made fun of that. What a bunch of losers.
Yeah,
That part is great.
it's awesome.
Did you know that the housekeeper Bond has, that role was written for Sean Connery?
Oh no.
It was. He refused to come back, but he should have. Why the fuck
should've.
didn't he?
Oh, that would have been awesome. That's a bummer. Well, the guy that they did get was pretty great. So
Yeah, he was
Yeah, you could probably just deepfake Sean Connery's face on him, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Because he was just, I feel like he was playing kind of a Sean Connery type. Hey, Pokin, they're gonna do Heir to the Empire as a Disney Plus exclusive Star Wars movie. Are you excited for a Star Wars movie starring a deepfaked Luke Skywalker?
No.
Are you, you're getting it.
I'm not watching it. But
Well,
yeah,
Bogan, how did you feel?
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, how did you feel returning to Skyfall?
I thought like it was still really great and still probably my favorite Bond movie. It did feel a bit long towards the end, whereas the first hour was flying by. And also I was kind of like thematically, I felt a bit confused at the end because it's like at the same time saying Bond is outdated, but then also Bond survives. But then also they basically burn down his childhood home. So what is that supposed to say? You know, it's like Bond. But then at the end, the very last thing is Bond get back to work and gladly, and then the Bond theme plays, right? Mm-hmm. Like I didn't quite understand what they were trying to say.
I think what they're trying to say is that sometimes the old ways are the best, but you also need to keep up with the times. So it's basically it's basically don't forget your past, but don't be beholden to it. I don't think it's that confusing.
Who do you think is better as a villain, Mads Mikkelsen or Javier Bardem?
I'd have to rewatch Casino Royale.
Javier Bardem's performance was pretty spectacular.
He is so good.
I'd never seen a Bond villain like this before. He was so creepy and weird, but like also kind of cultured in a way. Like it was this weird combination of...
And really charming too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he feels like Hannibal Lecter. Which is weird because, Mads Mikkelsen would then play Hannibal Lecter.
Yes.
But yeah, he's like this cultured, weird sociopath, psychopath, monster, evil person, or whatever. But, see, I think I like the character of Silva better than the character of Le Chiffre. But I think Mads Mikkelsen, he's so good. He's so good.
Mads is really good. Mads is really good. You know who would make a great Bond villain? And I'm surprised that he's never been a Bond villain.
Jeremy Irons?
Willem Dafoe.
No.
What do you mean no?
He's too goofy.
He has the face of a Bond villain.
He has the face of a comic book villain.
Yeah.
Which is why in the new Spider-Man movie, when he's playing the Green Goblin, they just took the helmet off and used his own face for the Goblin face.
No, I think he would make for a good Bond villain.
He would make a good nothing. You know what would make a good
What do you hate Willem Dafoe?
No, I liked Willem Dafoe quite a lot, but I don't know. I feel like he's like Nicolas Cage, where he's too silly. You can't put him in a movie like that.
No, I think he's been in plenty of great serious roles.
Yeah,
he was in The
but
Temptation of Christ.
He sure 30 years ago. But if you watch The Lighthouse, he works in that or he works as a silly character, just like Nicolas Cage. He works either in really serious movies or in really silly movies. James Bond is not either one of these. If you put him in a big action movie, I think he won't know what to do with it.
I don't agree. I think he could work.
I do agree.
I think he's a talented enough actor that he would know the right balance.
It's possible.
I don't think you're giving him enough credit.
He was terrible in Aquaman.
That's fucking Aquaman.
Yeah. That's a pretty close approximation of James Bond. That was also a globe-trotting adventure movie.
He was great in The Lighthouse.
Yeah. But I don't think that performance translates over to a big blockbuster action movie.
No.
But who knows? Maybe he could do it. I maintain that they should get Jeremy Irons to play a villain one of these days before he dies.
Anyway, we should move on.
We should. So
you're not the host. You're not the host. What is this?
I forgot.
I allow you to talk about James Bond for 40 minutes, and you think it's your show now? Okay, well, so I watched Batman, but I can't talk about Batman because of Bokin. So instead, I think I'll talk to you both
Give me like
about
2-3 weeks, then I'll have seen it.
I went to the goddamn premiere, and you can't get a ticket like a month after.
I wanted, but then I had a possible COVID infection and stayed home.
Why didn't you just go?
Because I'm responsible. Wait, responsible, not responsible. What is the word?
You are responsible.
No, I'm not responsible.
You are.
I mean, I take care of people. I do the right thing. The fuck is the word I'm looking for?
A sheep.
You're a responsible adult.
Is it responsible?
No, you're looking for the word considerate.
No.
Yes.
It might be.
That's the word.
It might be responsible, but that can also mean I'm to blame, right?
No. Yeah, it can go either way. You can either be responsible for your actions, or you can be a responsible person.
Yeah.
Who is, who thinks about things through and thinks clearly about things and is considerate.
That's right.
Yeah. People say that Willem Dafoe should play the Joker. I don't think he should play the Joker.
No, he's too old.
I think if you want like the perfect casting for like a classic actor, make Jim Carrey do it. Don't make Willem Dafoe do it.
Willem Dafoe is not the kind of person who can pull off a realistic creepy performance. He always is hammy to a degree.
Yeah,
He cannot do the Heath Ledger thing, for example.
Mm.
And since I can't talk about Matt Reeves' Batman movie at all, since that's been blocked, I want to tell you both about the 60s Batman. Have you guys watched that?
No.
The 1960s Batman, the Adam West?
Yeah.
A long time ago. I saw some of it.
It is a masterpiece. It totally holds up. It is so funny. Usually, when you go back into media from the days of yore, you watch it and you go, oh wow, Mel Blanc thought this was funny? This must have been really etchy 80 years ago. And it just doesn't work. Also, not Mel Blanc. What's his name? Mel Brooks. I think this is the second time I've confused the two on this podcast. But
Mel Blanc and Mel Brooks.
Yeah. But the 60s Batman, it totally holds up. It is so funny. I highly recommend everybody check out those episodes. There's a great scene in the first one where Batman, he goes to like a club diner thing, and the maitre d' goes up to him and he's like, "Oh, monsieur, can I get you a table?" And Batman goes, "No thanks. I don't want to draw any unnecessary attention to myself. I'll just stand in that corner over there." He's dressed like fucking Batman. What do you mean you don't want to draw attention to yourself? And he plays it so straight, and that's what makes it so beautiful. It's like, it is Batman. It's comic book Batman, and nobody is playing it up for a joke, but it's just really, really silly. There's another great episode where Batman is like wrestling with Catwoman, and he's like, "Oh, damn it, what's it gonna take to bring you to the side of justice?" And she's like, "Marry me." And Batman goes, "What else is it gonna take?" And then she proposes that they kill Robin together, and there's like a moment in his eyes, and he's like, he's thinking about it. He thought about it. I think people should stop trying to make these gritty Batman movies. Make Batman silly again for a while. Because we've had gritty Batman, we've had serious Batman.
Look, you can have a silly animated spin-off, maybe.
Yeah, they did that too. They did Return of the Caped Crusader. Adam West and Burt Ward came back for 2 Batman movies. One was released posthumously. Rest in peace, Adam West. And that's the thing also. If you look at the Batman 60s movie, that movie, like the action in that movie is no worse than what Bond was doing at the same time. In fact, it may be much, much better. Which is like crazy because it's a weird spoof movie, but it's so good. Are you guys gonna watch it now that I've sold you on it?
No.
I mean, I've already seen Adam West Batman, so...
Yeah, but you can see it again. You don't need to watch James Bond anymore.
No, I'm going to keep watching James Bond.
Well, viewers, I tried. And that's all the topics I get to have, because Batman is apparently off limits.
Well, you have Elden Ring. You have Elden Ring.
We're not talking about Elden Ring. We're already an hour into the podcast, and we haven't even gotten to the topic yet.
But I want to talk about Elden Ring.
Yeah, well, Daniel took up too much time talking about James Bond.
I kind of don't want to talk about Elden Ring, because for some fucking reason, I've only killed 2 of the main bosses, even though I've been spending 50 hours in this shitty thing.
You know, Bogan...
Shitty?
No, it's great.
You know, Bogan, the single best boss in the entire game, you haven't seen him yet.
I follow your
They
Twitter feed.
nerfed him. They fucking ruined him because man-children all over the world couldn't get it done. And meanwhile, the actual trash bosses, unchanged.
Which is all of them?
Most
I
of
hate
them,
the fucking
not
bosses
all of them.
in this game.
It's got the worst boss lineup.
I hate the fucking boss fights that is just, oh, here's 2 different enemies. Have fun, bitch.
Yeah, I hate every like Artorias was fun because it was like, oh, an actual like execution challenge with this dumbass combat system. What an interesting gimmick. And then they just kept doing that over and over again. Now it's like, give me an actual interesting boss.
But now it's like fight 2 Artoriases at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I really miss the boss fights from like Demon Souls, where it was like some weird gimmick of like, oh, it's got a blade stuck in its stomach. You got to hit that thing. And
but also on the adjudicator, you enter the arena from the top and you don't see him, and it's like it's just total darkness down there, so you don't know. You just follow these stairs down. It's so tense when you first do it.
Yeah.
And they don't do that anymore because weeps and losers keep jerking off to how Artorias is cool.
Although this game does have a bunch of like not completely standard bosses. I mean, it has like weird statues flying around, and it has a guy in a boat.
Sure, but I suppose we'll talk more about this when you've played more of the game.
Sure. I've played so much already, and I'm nowhere.
Lol. Did you guys ever read Batman The Black Mirror by Scott Snyder?
Dude, why are you asking? Yeah. You know the answer.
Have we ever said yes, Asa?
Can I spoil it for you?
Yes.
Is it bad?
No, it's really good. It takes place when Bruce Wayne was doing the whole Batman Incorporated thing. So Bruce Wayne is not actually in the comic. Dick Grayson is Batman, the first Robin. And I maintain that
Dick Grayson becomes Batman?
Yeah. He's a much better Batman. He's more interesting. I think the stories they gave him were way fucking better, helped largely because Grant Morrison was writing him. Also, like, his Robin was Damian Wayne, which is Bruce Wayne's biological son. And they switched the dynamic, so now Batman is the happy-go-lucky, joyful one, and Robin is the serious, angsty, like, gritty one. And it's
that's pretty good.
That's really good, but it's also such a good showcase of, like, Dick Grayson is, like, the first son, and now he has to take care of Bruce Wayne's actual biological kid, and his son is such a fucking piece of shit.
Wait. Who did Batman bang?
Talia al Ghul.
What?
Yeah, Ra's al Ghul's daughter. But
okay, hold on. I need to look this up. Batman Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's called that. But that's not the story. Like, I don't think Damian shows up in it like much. I think he's in a couple of panels, maybe. You want the Grant Morrison Batman run if you want to read those stories. But Black Mirror, it takes... So, Dick Grayson, he's Batman. Bruce Wayne is elsewhere. And the story takes place... what's happening in the story is that Jim Gordon's son returns to Gotham, and his son is a sociopath. But he's on this like experimental therapeutic pills which increase peptide production in the limbic system and allow him to feel empathy. And it's like, oh wow, that's really interesting. And then it turns out that, oh no, actually what he's done is, with the moment he began to feel empathy, he began to believe that sociopaths were the next stage of evolution because they were better, because this was a weakness. So he reversed engineered it, and he made it so that it blocks all of the shit so that he can't feel empathy. And anybody who takes those pills, stop sending messages in the Discord, Daniel. You mute everything, and it ruins my audio. I've said this twice already. But but it blocks out all of everybody's ability to feel empathy. And by the end of the story, he may or may not have given it to thousands of infant children in like the birthing ward at a hospital. And it's so fucking dark. Oh, I love that story. Which one is it? We'll talk about it after, Daniel.
I just want to know which one it is. I want to buy it.
Yeah. You can't buy it now. I'll show you afterwards.
What? I can't? I can't buy it?
No, I'm the host. I'm saying you can't buy it. I feel bad for whoever has to edit this episode.
Why?
Probably me.
No, I think it's me.
But
well, I don't know why.
But because I don't know if you want to remove these segments where you two keep screwing around with my audio or not.
All that shit is staying in.
Well, viewers, I tried. Not hard, but I tried.
As if you would remove them.
Oh, God, no. I'd repeat them.
I feel like I'm the only one that actually edits the podcast properly.
I just do like, I sync the audios, I do the music, and I let it out.
Yep.
Oh my God. I actually listen to it and I'm like, okay, this part sounds shitty. Let me take this out.
I like listen to it, but I don't edit it. I don't remove sections. I just like go through it at like 3 times speed to just find like, is there anything that went off? Okay, send it out.
I don't like remove sections. I just like make sure that it sounds good.
So
it's like, someone is talking over someone else. Let me just like space it out properly so everyone can be heard properly.
I would never do that. I would just mute everyone but me.
Doesn't that ruin the syncing?
Sometimes we just talk over each other and you can't hear what anyone is saying. So I'll just like, okay, let me just space it out so that, they can be heard.
But how do you stretch it out without ruining the sync?
No, I am a professional. I know what I'm doing. I make sure that it doesn't go out of sync.
So you have to, resync the episodes after that segment?
No, he just clips the audio, moves one section over, and then everything that happened after that is still in sync, and then he just moves it around a bit.
I guess so.
That is exactly what I do, yes.
That sounds like a lot of work, Daniel.
Well...
This podcast is worth it.
I guess it's not worth it. Oh, that sounds like a lot of work.
Daniel sounds like a lot of work. No. They also did a run with Tom King. You guys would probably write like Tom King. He wrote The Vision. He wrote Mr. Miracle.
I mean, his name has King in it, so
it
surely.
Does. There was this whole, like, the war of jokes and riddles and stuff like that, which people didn't like, but I'm like, He swung. He tried. Anyways, Bogan, what have you been doing? Oh, World of Warcraft again. How fun.
I don't want to...
I want to hear about this. I want to hear about this.
No. I was ready to end it right here.
You don't have to talk about it.
I want to hear about how shitty World of Warcraft's story is. Fucking give it to me.
It's really bad. It's like...
I know. I love it. Give me the slop.
Have you seen anything from the new patch? Because there's a new patch out now.
I heard that they're trying to make the jailer good or something.
No.
Like I heard they're trying to make him sympathetic or something like that.
Well, fuck. Okay.
That's what I meant by good. Not well written, but like they're trying to make you feel bad for him.
The current expansion, Shadowlands, is a complete dumpster fire. And usually a World of Warcraft expansion has around 4 major patches with 4 raids that like conclude the story towards the end. And it is very obvious that they've cut out the last patch and are now releasing the 3rd final patch for this expansion because they want to shove this into an early grave. And that's why it all feels really slapped together. We had no idea what the main villain, the jailer, was trying to do. He had like, I heard, before this patch, he had like 30-something lines total of dialogue in the entire game. And that's the villain we're getting.
Cool.
And I mean, they fucked up last patch because we were supposed to kill off Sylvanas, who was working for the jailer. She turned around and helped us against him for literally no good reason. Now she's actually just back in the cutscenes with us, and everyone is like working with her. And I can't believe it. I can't believe they're just letting her go free. She needs to be executed as soon as possible. Like
But
publicly.
then they can't make more figurines and stuff
Yeah.
to sell. Do any characters in this damn game ever die?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Some do. Some orcs have died.
That's good.
The human king has died and left his son.
Oh no.
Yeah, shit like that. But a lot of characters just keep coming back for no reason.
Oh.
And so yeah, anyway, yeah, and now we have the jailer who was trying to get a MacGuffin to subjugate the universe or something. I mean, this is the level we're working on right now. He's trying to rearrange reality into one where he dominates everything. That's the great villain we have.
Is there any like long-running story they like ever made where it didn't just become a heap of nonsense, and they also didn't do like reboots? Because like it's the same in comic books where
Well, yes, One Piece.
no, but see, even One Piece, you have this continuing escalation of power levels and shit. I'm not talking about the story becoming bad. I'm talking more about like, can you get a Batman story that's like been running for 10 years, which doesn't end with Batman going to fight the Saucermen of Mars or some nonsense like that? Just have him be a street level guy.
I mean, Detective Conan is I haven't kept up with it, but like as far as I know, it's stayed pretty consistently like, yep, he's still just solving mysteries.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Like they haven't introduced aliens or time travel as far as I know. Every episode is legit just someone fucking died and he needs to figure it out, and that's it.
Ugh.
Also,
Well-
One Piece is pretty good about keeping power levels low. I mean, they keep
No.
introducing new powers, but
They keep, yeah.
There's-
It's like,
there's
oh,
no
now you have hockey, now you have fucking second gear and stuff like that.
yeah, but none of those powers are like, oh, we're gonna threaten to blow up the planet, and then we can't go anywhere further.
No,
You
but
know?
like if you introduce any of those powers in like the first season of One Piece, like it would just ruin the whole season. Like
It would.
it starts so small and subdued, and then it becomes this huge epic thing. Which I'm not saying that's bad. I quite like One Piece, but I'm saying, like, do we have a story where it starts out small and it just keeps being small?
Oh, okay.
And apparently, Detective Conan is the story I was looking for, even though I'll never watch that.
I mean, I recommend watching at least the early stuff. Like, it started in 1996, and it's still going. It has like over 1,000 episodes. So I don't recommend sticking with it for too long. But
I can't believe
but like,
that Detective Conan is still good. I mean, I never liked it, but there's no way that they...
No, the early episodes are good. The early episodes are legit, like, good mystery.
They're okay, but like no way can they write the show and keep it like fresh.
Absolutely
they
not.
100% keep getting more ridiculous like murders, or they keep repeating things they've already done. Like you don't have that much
I agree.
creativity on the
It
team.
probably sucks now, but like on the question of did it like completely like jump the shark? Probably not. Like it's still a detective show at the end of the day.
Is it one of those shows where you can watch it and figure it out yourself, or is it like, oh,
No.
Detective Conan realized that there's a white powder on his shoe, which must have mean he
never
went to
was.
the flour
It's
factory
still a
or
lot
some
of-
nonsense
it's
like
still a lot
that.
of
Okay,
anime.
it depends on the episode. So the better episodes, yes. Some of the shittier episodes,
Yeah, okay,
but
here's
there are
here's like
definitely
here's
good
a rule.
episodes where
Here's
No, yeah,
a
there are-
rule. Here's a rule for all storytellers. If you're doing a mystery, I'm going to be really fucking disappointed if I can't figure out the mystery from the clues you left. And I know that the mystery, it can't just be for the characters in the world. I get that, but I'm going to be really mad if I can't solve it because you didn't give me all the clues.
No, yeah. I agree with you. And again, it depends on the episode. There are actually legit good episodes where it gives you all the clues and it's just a matter of figuring it out.
The
But
Butler
just not all
did
of them.
it. Well, Bogan,
So
do you want
anyway-
to keep talking about World of Warcraft?
Yes, because World of Warcraft story, right? We're now in the afterlife. That is the Shadowlands. We're having a villain who is like trying to take over the universe and fighting a bunch of other
What?
low-key gods to do it. And at the end of the expansion, when we kill the jailer, what happens is that in his dying monologue, he says, "Oh, my only goal was to unite the universe against what is to come." And then he dies. So it's like, okay, we're in the fucking afterlife. We have reality-threatening powers. And now the big bad is telling us there's another bigger bad coming.
A
at
bigger
some point.
bad?
And we have no fucking clue what's going on. We didn't even understand what he wanted to do. It's like, just stop. You can't keep going like this. It doesn't work. And like, it's like the Dragon Ball Z thing all over again. How many times can you threaten to blow up the planet? It's
Yeah.
shit. It's terrible. And like, Final Fantasy 14 has a fairly similar plotline, except there the motivations of the characters make sense, and you actually feel for everyone you're working with and against.
Mm-hmm.
And it's emotional and beautiful, and World of Warcraft is stuck in this shitty, everyone keeps, spouting heroic dialogue, like they were practicing a speech in the morning and they now have to give it. There's no levity to anything. It's so dumb and serious, and it doesn't work. And it's been like this for 10 years. Just
Probably
stop.
longer.
Yeah, World of Warcraft was kind of like that. Warcraft 3, I mean. It always had that tone.
But like at least Warcraft 3 was interesting.
Yeah, that's when they just were building an
Like the
army,
tone
basically.
isn't the problem. Like you said, 3 had that same tone. The tone isn't the problem. The problem is what they do with it. And clearly what they've been doing with it just sucks.
What they've been doing with it is keep raising the power levels again and again and again without resolving anything or building any interesting characters around it.
How about
least-
one expansion in like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14, my mortal enemy, the game? How about one expansion where instead of like a giant threat comes to the world or whatever, it's just like, oh hey, it's the festival of the feast. And it's like the new skill tree, it's a cooking game. And you have to become the best cook that you possibly can to win the gold ribbon at the big fair. Why isn't that like an expansion?
That could be a side thing.
No,
Yeah,
why
I
isn't
mean,
that the
there-
main thing?
Because that's not what the game is.
Yeah, why not?
Because people want to play an MMO.
Well,
Yeah, you
Well-
can make that into an MMO. You can go like, you have to find the ingredients for this, and go kill 3 boars, and get 3 boar asses, and put that into
isn't
the
that
soup.
Stardew Valley?
I don't know. It may be.
That's basic. I think you're basically just describing Stardew Valley and like Rune Factory.
Yeah, fine, whatever. Do that. Make that an expansion to one of these games.
Okay, but like the thing is with Final Fantasy is when they create an expansion, yeah, sure, that's not the main story, but like they will have stuff like that as well.
No, make that the main story.
I know you're saying that, but I'm saying that that's already in the game. It's
No,
just not
no,
the main story.
No, make that the main story. Make that the big thing. Create like this whole like
Call it Cakewalker.
Something like that. That was a terrible one though. You could have gone like Flan
Cake
Walker.
Bringers.
Stop with the fucking cake! Isn't it Endwalker?
Well, the last one was Shadowbringers.
Now it's Endwalker, yes.
Yeah.
See, okay, to me, the interesting question is because
Stormcake.
Endwalker concluded the current story, and it raised the stakes really high. We're also basically fighting for the entirety of reality to keep continuing.
Yeah, don't
but
spoil too much.
No,
'cause I'm only like halfway through.
that's all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna say it's
Yeah.
very similar to the ending of Shadowlands.
Yeah, I'm
So-
currently waiting for my.
I don't give a shit.
My
Let me finish my thought.
Fine.
And so now they're both at a very similar point in time. And I'm very curious what FF14 is going to do next, if they can find a way to scale it back. Because I don't see how in World of Warcraft we can have an expansion about fucking whatever. The Murloc King is coming, you know? Like a bunch of fish people are coming out of the ocean and trying to take over Azeroth. How can you fight a Murloc King when you've just defeated a reality changing entity, right? Like I can't see how that works anymore. Even though that's what people want. They want more real, like just actual conflicts that can be resolved with swords. Fucking anything that keeps us away from old gods and all that shit. So I'm curious because FF14 has specifically ended the story now. How they're going to do that? If they can just introduce a new continent or something? I don't know.
I mean, this is an opportunity for them to scale things back again, you know, and do
They
something
should.
more.
They need to.
Like I wouldn't mind another expansion in the vein of like Heaven's Ward again, where it's like, you know, the scope is more like, you know, just these like fuckers backstabbing each other and like these political machinations and just like, you know, hiding shit from the people and just all these secrets that they've been holding for thousands of years and cool shit like that.
Yeah. But Heaven's Ward
record-
is also really detached from the rest of the story.
For the
Yeah,
record,
but you know the story's concluded.
for
Yes,
the
yes,
record,
Acer.
for the record, I am banning Ruby from coming on ever again because I'm so sick and tired of these goddamn games.
Well, I mean, Boken and I outvote you, so Ruby, you are absolutely invited back.
You're
on.
not allowed to vote, Boken.
What? Why?
Why would you be allowed to vote?
Acer.
I asked you fuckers if you want to do a podcast when this all started, okay? This was my idea.
No, what happened was, Boken, you approached me and you said you wanted to do a podcast with me, and then I
Oh
suggested.
yeah, that's true. And then you brought
And then
in
I
Acer.
suggested
Thanks.
Acer. I was like, oh, Acer's a cool guy. What a fucking mistake that was.
Lol.
And you were like, oh, I don't know this Acer girl. And I'm like, no, trust me. I guess you shouldn't have trusted me.
Got him, bitch.
Got him. All right,
I
Acer.
Anyway, I'm
used to
done.
be.
I wanna-
I think if you listen to the old episodes, I was quite professional.
On the real, Acer, I need to ask, what deal would we have to do to force you to play FF14? What would have to be done?
You would have to pay me like a month, like the time I spent on it. You would have to pay me that in my salary because I will never do this in my free time.
I thought you were going to say you have to pay for the monthly subscription.
Just like you have to pay $20. Like what?
I have to pay for your monthly subscription. But then I would have interjected and said, but did you know that there's a free trial up to level 60? All right, I see there's no talking you into it then without monetary.
I don't know what your salary is, but that's like 200 hours at least that you need to play.
That's like that's like we'll put on a Kickstarter for it.
Maybe we should set up a Patreon. We should set up a Patreon, and one of the Patreon goals is Acer begrudgingly plays FF14.
God no.
Yeah.
Bogan, is that all you want to talk about?
If you were to stream just the Heavensward story, I would sit with you in that stream.
I don't want to stream that either. I want to stream Morrowind.
Well, they're going to introduce data center traveling soon.
I don't care.
So the three of us could conceivably, go on adventures together.
No, we couldn't. It's not even conceivable. How would that be conceivable?
I'm not taking my savage-geared character and mingling with you peasants. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
I'd just be like, can I play as a hobo and just like spec people for stuff? Can I have money?
You're saying you're too good to go down to Sastasha?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Don't worry, Acer. I will be your healer.
You will be nothing. We are putting an end to this. It's break time now. I've had quite enough of this fucking MMO talk.
When I do Sastasha, I pull the whole fucking dungeon.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut your mouth. It's break time. We'll be back with the essay topic.
I'm gonna go get some coffee.
Yeah, get some coffee. Hello, everyone. We're back. Are we back, boys? Or do you need more break time?
No, we're back.
We're back. Bogan, are you back too?
I am back.
Do you concur?
That I'm back? Yes.
Why didn't I just concur? Have you seen that movie?
No.
No.
Have I?
Oh,
I
no,
don't know.
it's I should have concurred. It's Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio. That's a good movie, even though Leonardo DiCaprio is in it. Anyways.
You know Leonardo DiCaprio? He convinced me as an actor in... I didn't like him either, but then I saw him in that last fucking...
Hollywood?
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's it.
Yeah, he's good in that.
Where he was, like, acting as an actor, pretending to act differently. And it's like fucking 5 layers of acting that he's doing while he's shooting that scene, and I was so amazed by it.
But the thing is though, Tarantino got a good performance out of Bruce Willis. So I don't know if that's DiCaprio acting good, or Tarantino is just like, he's such a good director, he can get a good performance out of anyone. He got a good performance out of John Travolta. Let's not forget.
True. But that was 30 years ago.
That's true. That is true. Anyways, also he got a good performance out of Al Pacino. We're doing a topic, the big topic. Can you play a game wrong, boys? Did I tell you how this came about in the beginning? I don't remember.
You did.
I did.
You touched on it. You
Well,
said you got a
yeah,
comment.
I don't think you said exactly what was being said.
So in my Sekiro commentary, which everybody here should have watched by now, I make the point that a lot of the criticisms of that game came about from people who didn't play the game correctly. And I think there's a big case to be made that maybe From wasn't really good at communicating that, especially if you're moving into that game from like Dark Souls. A lot of the strategies from Dark Souls are just going to get you killed if you try them in Sekiro. And that it's probably better to like play Sekiro without having played Souls than it is to transition between the two, because they're very different in what they expect of you. And this concept of playing the game wrong, it cropped up in the Discord server when somebody pointed out to me, and I don't remember their name. Could click over, could check out their name, I don't wanna. And they pointed, like they had this conversation with me about playing a game wrong. And it's been on my mind in the couple of hours since it happened. What do you guys think? Can you play a game wrong?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I was actually prepared to go with no, but now you've contextualized it in a way where it's
we don't
clearly
need to-
just...
We don't need to have the conversation in that specific context, though.
Yeah. I mean, it was like... I thought this was going to go towards, can you play a game illegitimately? You know?
Oh, yeah.
The illegitimate child.
But you know what I mean? It's just like speedrunning a wrong way to play a game, right?
Yes.
No.
They're saving too many frames.
Yeah.
The developer intended you to see all those frames.
It's funny you say that. Koji Igarashi was talking to someone that loved to speed run Symphony of the Night, and he was talking to him, and he was like, it really bums me out because we work really hard on all the frames of animation, and to see you just cancel all the animations, it hurts.
That's pretty good.
But if the question is, can you play a game non-optimally or not understand how it's supposed to be played? Then yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
I mean,
also
yeah,
like
I think FromSoft was very clear in communicating that this is not a Souls game. You're supposed to be in the action. You're supposed to be aggressively parrying. I mean, for me personally, I just didn't like that gameplay loop. But
Sure.
it's kind of obvious that
They were
you're
going for
supposed
something
to
different.
go in.
I'm also thinking of this in terms of like chess, because you can play chess wrong if you try to move the pawns backwards, for example. That's like you're playing the game wrong. That's not chess anymore.
Yeah, well, that's not the rules.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
for
you're
video
breaking the
games, it's a bit different because the rules, like video game rules are interesting because every single exploit is theoretically like, because the game allows it, that means it is within the rules, but like clearly doing this supercharged up ultra mega hit which the developers never planned for, just because it works, that wasn't like, that's not part of the rules. You're kind of cheating the game at that point, right? Like
Well,
when
but-
you're doing like speedrunning, and I like speedrunning, but that like that's not, you're not playing the same game anymore because those exploits they weren't planned by the developer.
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
So to your point, in Ocarina of Time, I don't know how you do it, but there is a way to make it so that the hitbox on Link's sword is always active, and you could kill enemies just by walking into them.
What?
Yeah, like because the hitbox is always active, so it's doing continuous damage all the time.
Oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah, so like obviously that is totally unintentional, but you can make the argument that it's still within the rules because
You
it's
can
in the
do
game.
it. Yeah.
Yes, and but there's also an argument to be made about what is considered cheating and what isn't. So like, if you, I think we can all agree if you get like a Game Genie or whatever, and attach that to your N64, and then give yourself like infinite health and infinite lives, or or whatever. Like that's not. Not only is that not intentional, that's not really technically in the game. You're using something outside of the game in order to force it to do something that that it can't be done. So, but with this hitbox thing with the sword, that's a different thing, because that's just you doing something really specific. I think you have to like do a backflip and get your shield out. You have to do like some weird, like specific set of actions in order to get this hitbox thing to occur.
Yeah.
See, it's kind of it's an interesting distinction, because on the surface, to me, the distinction is pretty clear. What is an exploit and what is a cheat? Because a cheat usually involves some outside source, or like tampering with files in some way, which is not allowed. Like speedrunning is all about exploits, yes. Cheats, no, not allowed. But then at the same time, like in a speedrun, you would not be allowed to change like an INI file, for example. But you are allowed to, fuck with a game in-game so that it unloads an area or something because you triggered something, and then go, use this exploit where suddenly now it warps you forwards because the current area is unloaded or something. That's something that happens that people explain in AGDQ and so on.
Yeah.
So if you can do it with a controller, then it's okay.
Yeah, it reminds me of this tournament, this like Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament, where someone was just like, this nobody came out of nowhere, and he was just beasting on like top level players, and people are like going crazy, like, who is this guy? How is he killing everyone so easily? And then it turns out
macros in his controller.
I don't remember specifically what he did. I think he had like a memory card or something, where he just altered the game's code to make that specific character that he uses. He just like maxed out everything. Like the hitboxes were way bigger than they were supposed to. They did tons more damage. He just like blatant cheating.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. I think he even picked like Jigglypuff or something just to make it extra funny.
But then there's edge cases like having a controller like a hitbox, where you don't have a joystick, but you have 4 buttons for the 4 directions. Like not an arcade stick. It's an arcade stick, but with 4 extra buttons for the directional inputs. And that changes a lot of the moves you can do. And tournaments are still not entirely clear if that should be allowed in fighting games.
Yeah, I think it gets kind of funky when you bring in controllers, because is auto fire on a controller, is that cheating? I think it is.
It is. Because because there you produce more inputs than you do. But on a hitbox, that's not the case.
There's some funky shit with hitboxes in Melee in particular. Like, for whatever reason, Link's jumping sidekick, the hitbox remains on the character even after the kick is done, and it's like as he's falling, the hitbox is still active for whatever reason.
In those tournaments, can you use those exploits? Like, are those exploits legit?
I mean, they're kind of
yes,
like they're baked into the game's code. Like, that's a clear, like with Link's hitbox, clear error. That was just a mistake because Melee was rushed out the door. Like, there's a bunch of shit in Melee just like that where it's just broken. But
Wait, isn't Melee like beloved?
Yeah, it's beloved, but it still has a bunch of weird jank in it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if somebody found if I was in a Smash tournament and I figured out an exploit to make my Pikachu or whoever I'm playing as, I can just make him not take damage with this one I just do like a weird backflip or something at the start, and then my hitbox doesn't activate and I become intangible. Surely, the referees would come in and say, "Well, you can't do that because you're just cheating at this point."
Well, okay.
Right?
So if it was something that drastic, then what would happen is either the game gets patched, in terms of Melee, that isn't possible because it's a GameCube game. So at that point, the community would reach the consensus that either you get disqualified for doing that glitch, or Pikachu would be banned from tournaments. Because then everyone could do it. It doesn't take skill, and then tournaments would go nowhere.
Right. So tournaments have their own rules as to what they consider to be viable for their tournaments.
All right. I'm also thinking of can you play a game wrong in terms of like, say you're playing like a role-playing game. No, not a role-playing game, like an RTS, like a long-term strategy game. Playing, like even playing suboptimally there, you're still playing the game right. Like just because you lose, you still played the game right, you just lost. Like you were trying to control Rome and your colony in Spain collapsed or whatever.
Yeah,
Something
I mean, you can play
happening.
poorly. Poorly can mean wrong if you want to win. But if you're having fun, and like the poor play style is what you're enjoying about the game, then go for it. Like if you want to beat Sekiro, playing it like a Dark Souls game where you're just dodging and doing one hit at a time, then okay.
You know, that reminds me of way back in the day when Fire Emblem Path of Radiance came out. I picked a specific character. I think his name was Rolf. And I leveled him up. Yeah, Rolf. And I remember leveling him up, and I got him to a high level, and he was really good. He was one of my best units. And this totally, in this forum, it totally baffled the forum. They were like, that character is shit. You're playing wrong, blah, blah, blah. And, like, I was really dumbfounded because, like, I was having tons of success with this character. You know, this character was a beast, for me at least. Now, maybe I just got lucky, and when he leveled up, all his stats just clicked into the right places. He just, because when it comes to Fire Emblem, when you level up a character, the stats are randomized, what goes up. There's certain percentages, so like, obviously, if you have a knight character, chances are, like, strength has a 90% chance of going up a few points, as opposed to their intelligence, which only has like a 10% chance. Shit like that. So maybe the RNG gods just shined down on me and was like, no, I just got lucky and that character was just a beast. But like, I remember people were really vicious and mean to me because I was like, no, this character, yeah, it's silly to say now, but like, yeah, they were like really mean to me just because I said, I think this character is great. He's really strong for me. And they were just like, no, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. This, and that, and the other. So in that context, what was I playing wrong? I don't think so. That character was strong as fuck.
I mean, maybe the other characters would be even stronger. It's possible.
Sure, but if he's still strong enough for the game, then I would say like that's not wrong.
No.
What is wrong is like if you're playing like Grand Theft Auto, and you just walk to the side of your house and you just keep walking to the side of that house and you don't like do anything. That's playing the game wrong, yeah.
It depends, I think.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Because if you're enjoying that, then surely it's like, I don't know how you could enjoy that, but it's like if you're like, who am I to come in here and say you're doing it wrong when you're getting enjoyment out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it also depends on what the intention is. Like, if that person wants to finish the game, if they want to beat the game, but that's all they're doing, then clearly there's a disconnect between what they intend to do and what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
Although I don't see how anyone could be that fucking stupid that they think that walking into the side of a wall
humanity
beat the game.
Humanity never ceases to amaze me, Daniel.
That's true.
Can I tell a Dark Souls story?
Sure.
Because
sure.
I tried when Dark Souls 3 came out. Like halfway through the game, I decided I want to try to invade a bunch of people. Yeah. And I did that, and it turned into one of the most miserable experiences I've ever had in a Souls game, because obviously you can only invade people who are human and not undead. And every time I would invade someone, because that guy was human, or that person was human, they already had like 2 other summons with them at all times. And if then, if I invade, then also there's a chance that another blue sentinel will be coming in. So every time I try to invade someone, it would be 3 or 4 against 1, me. And not only was that like impossible and really frustrating and stupid to play, but I also just got so angry at all these people who are apparently playing through their first Dark Souls playthrough with 2 summons at their side at all times. I got so mad at these people. And I don't, like, it was everyone, because I guess the chance would be high that I meet people like that when I can only invade people like that when they're human.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is really everyone, but I was like, is every fucking person playing this game just, in my opinion, borderline cheating, even though it's, it's intended by the game? But I don't like the summoning mechanic, and I think it makes things way too easy.
I think it's a case of the people who don't want to summon, they also don't want to be invaded. They just go offline. They don't play the game online.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do. I just don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
I stay undead, and that's fine. Because when I want to make myself through a Dark Souls area, I don't want to be invaded.
I think Elden Ring may have, like the difficulty scaling in Elden Ring, I genuinely believe it may have been tuned around you being you summoning and engaging with the online, like all throughout.
Well, yeah, but if not summoning, then definitely that bell summoning, where you can just bring in, those spirits.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't like the summoning mechanic in general, even though I use it in Elden Ring because it's needed. But I don't, it feels so, it feels kind of exploitative, just waiting for the boss to turn around and attack your summon so that you can get a bunch of damage in, where you basically have done nothing for it.
Yeah, I've never liked the online in these games. I think it's very, like, conceptually, I think it's very interesting. But both the terrible lag, which has not yet been addressed, and just, like, the bosses are not, they're not coded for multiple enemies.
No, they're not.
Just in no way, shape, or form. It always comes across as so bad. I like online when it's like, oh, you're going through an area and you're having a hard time. You summon somebody to help you. Like, I like that. But when you're doing like invasions and shit, I don't think I've ever been invaded by somebody who wasn't doing some weird strategy where they were like corroding my equipment or shit like that.
Yeah.
And they were doing some min-maxing strategies.
That's the people who are doing invasions, right? Are those that are prepared for it and are going to come in with some finished build that you have no chance against anyway.
Yeah, they play through the whole game on soul level 4 to get some crazy item in the end game, and now they're just invading me at the starting area.
But yeah, and I know it's wrong to tell people they can't play with summons. I just think it's kind of cheap, and it made me so annoyed that because that's like the Souls experience basically gone.
Yeah.
Is it a wrong way to play the game like that? I guess not, but I don't condone it.
No, I condemn it, but I wouldn't ban it.
But if you need it to get through the game, then, fine. The mechanic is there for a reason.
Yeah.
I guess it's all intention and how you communicate, how you play the game. Because Yahtzee Croshaw, for example, he can't shut the fuck up about how he likes hard games because he's now so into Souls ever since Dark Souls 1, ever since he tried it. And then, at some point it turns out he summoned people for all the major bosses to help him. And I'm like, come on, you fucker.
You bitch.
And it's fine, you can do that, but just stop pretending like you're some god gamer because you beat Dark Souls games.
Yeah, well, first
we
of all,
just
you
get
shouldn't
over
do
that?
that. And second of all, you especially shouldn't do that when you use summons all the time.
Yeah.
I think people really need to get over how quote unquote hard the Souls games are. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that they're easy games either, but like, people have really played up how supposedly difficult these games are, that it's overshadowed the rest of what makes these games good. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, they're challenging games. That is part of the enjoyment, because the challenge does, give a rush of excitement when you're, fighting a boss that's kicking your ass and then you beat it. It's like, oh yeah, that's awesome. But like, that's not it. That's not the whole point of these games. They're also really atmospheric. They have rich lore. Like there's a lot of things to consider with your builds. It forces you to really think about the consequences of your actions in these games and in a gameplay sense. Like the exploration in these games, not even just Elden Ring, the exploration in the other games feels really rich and fulfilling. There's so much more to these games. It's not just the difficulty. Shut the fuck up about the difficulty. I know that's not really related to the main topic, but I just felt like getting it out there. But maybe it is related to the main topic. Maybe these people are playing these games wrong, and that's why they think it's about the difficulty.
I don't know. I guess there is no playing games wrong.
There's games... because it like I keep going back to chess. Like, the moment you move a piece incorrectly, that's not you playing the game wrong. That's you no longer playing the game. The pawn doesn't move that way, ergo, you're not playing chess. Whereas, like...
Yes, but games aren't really like that.
Well, video games aren't like that, because everything the game allows you to do, you can do. Whether or not that's, like, an intended strategy. I guess, like, the parameter for what is and isn't the quote-unquote right way to play is a bit hazier, but I feel like if you're telling somebody, like, oh, you're playing the game wrong because you're not playing it like how I would have, like, no, that's not the right way to have this conversation. Whereas if you're going, oh, you're playing the game wrong because you're just walking into a wall all the time, I don't know.
Suppose there are two friends who like playing chess against each other, but they have the house rules that every piece on the board is a queen and can move like a queen.
What the fuck? That's insane.
Yeah.
But like...
What if they really enjoy it?
That's like... Sure, that's a game, but that's not chess. That's queen chess or whatever. But as queen chess, that's not playing the game wrong.
No, it's playing chess wrong.
Yeah.
But I guess you're not playing chess anymore.
God damn it, people keep sending me messages.
Yeah, and again, that's what makes video games more difficult in this type of conversation, because, it's very clear. In chess, you can break the rules if you want to, right? Like, because you can play chess in that way. But, like, in a video game, the rules are a lot more vague. It's just, oh, I want to walk through this wall. Well, no, you can't walk through the wall. The wall has collision detection on it. So, but if you want to get through the wall, you could go into the game's code and, turn off the collision detection. Well, are you still playing the game at that point? Kind of, but I don't know. At the same time, though, can you really say you've beaten the game if you just if you start Breath of the Wild and you just turn off collision detection, you just fly all the way to Ganon and just kill him? Like,
then you activate the cheat code where your sword is always with an active hitbox, and you just fly through Ganon a bunch of times.
Yeah. That'd be pretty funny. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Link is just standing there, and Ganon's just like, oh.
Sometimes you get those cases like in Soma, where people came up with a mod that removes all the monster combat, and the monsters.
I thought that was an official.
I
Didn't
think
it start as a patch? Didn't it start as a mod and then become like a real thing?
Yeah, and then that's what I'm saying. The developers then at some point curated the idea because it's a different take on the game when you're just walking these empty halls and these confused, like gurgling monsters are just standing there and existing in their own space and not doing anything. Like that's creepy on its own, and that's what people liked about it. So the developers took that as an idea and added it as a mode in the game.
Yeah, I think that's a better idea, honestly, as a game than having to hide from them.
What? No. Daniel, you
The
coward.
monster sections weren't great.
I'm just saying, it just sounds like a better game.
I feel like Daniel is wrong, and we need to address that.
I am.
Well, I mean,
Are you like some big Soma mark or something?
no, I just love Amnesia. I don't think I completed Soma, but I love Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
Well,
And I love that game.
I think Amnesia is a very different game, though. I think in Amnesia's case, making it like how this mod or update works would destroy the experience of Amnesia.
I'd have to
I'm just
replay Soma to make a definitive take, to have one.
No, I think so, in Soma's case, Soma's is much more about just the story and kind of like the weird existential conundrums of like, if you copy paste your consciousness, is that still really you? Probably not.
Yeah, that's what the game is about.
Yeah, so I feel like
yeah, that sure is what the game is about.
And that's pretty much what the game is about.
Well,
The monster plot is like the monsters feel like they're just there to have gameplay.
yeah. Well, that might
as
be.
opposed to Amnesia, where like it that's much more central to the game experience.
True.
To like hide and manage your lantern or whatever.
Yeah. Did you guys ever play A Machine for Pigs?
No.
No, I've heard mixed things. It's either extreme love or extreme hatred.
So many good ideas squandered on a mediocre game. Because
it's
it was like
by the
the
Chinese
Chinese
room,
room?
right? Who don't know how to make gameplay.
Yeah, but it started out as like, it was supposed to be just a short little experiment. And I don't think it was even supposed to be like a full-fledged sequel. But then they just kind of ballooned it into one. I want to see what the experiment was like, because it's like, it's this whole idea about like the turning of the century and like how this new world is coming in on us, and the industrial age and the age of machines and the it's just like, oh, that's actually super interesting. Why the fuck am I running away from pig monsters again?
Because the pigs are symbolic.
Oh, yeah, I know that, but it probably works better. It probably worked better in like a 40-minute experimental game than it does in a 4-hour one. I don't know. I feel like we've exhausted this topic and now we're just talking about other games.
Yep.
Kind of.
So, can you play a game wrong? It depends on how you define the question, and where your parameters for what is and isn't wrong is, I suppose.
I think you can play a game poorly, but you can't play it wrong.
Yeah.
But I think
If you stay within the given rules.
I think you can play a game wrong, but only if you're intentionally playing it in a way that goes against your intention, which I don't know why you would.
But then
But
you're
you're
not
only-
playing.
but-
Then you're like,
You're playing wrong by your own standards at that point.
I don't know
But
if
like-
intentions are the standards though.
Well, yeah, not
Yeah,
standard was the wrong word.
Because
But you're playing against
it's
your
like
own-
there. I just want to be able to say you're playing the game wrong because you're playing it like a fucking idiot. But there are so many ways where you can sort of like massage. Like, there's so many semantics games where you can play here to try to make it like, well, is he really playing the game wrong? Like, in a grand philosophical sense, no, you can't play a game wrong. But when you're just having a conversation between two human beings, without all the semantics, yeah, you can play a game wrong because you don't know how to fucking jump, asshole.
No, sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. If someone is trying to play a game and they legit just don't understand how it works, like if you're playing Final Fantasy VIII and you don't know how the junction system works, like you're playing the game wrong, because that's like a huge part of the game. If you're ignoring it, then you're just gonna get a bunch of game overs. Actually, there was someone who played FF7 specifically and got to the end without the materia system somehow. Like they didn't junction anything, or rather they didn't use the materia system at all, and somehow they got all the way to Sephiroth.
Excuse
fucking
excuse me? How?
Yeah, I don't know. I was watching Tim Rogers, who's like one of the best creators. He has this awesome series called Let's Mosey, where he talks about the translation of the original game, because he knows Japanese.
Yeah.
So he's a lot of it's comparing the translation and him going like, "Oof, buddy, this translation really garbo. Here's the actual Japanese." But at some point, it becomes less about just the comparing the translation and more like his experience with Final Fantasy VII as like a youth, and like in college, and like his weird NASCAR buddy who only played FF7 specifically because he saw Cloud on a motorcycle and he thought it looked cool, and that's why he played Final Fantasy VII. And him trying to help his buddy, his buddy was like, "Oh, I'm the final boss, I need help." And then that's when Tim Rogers was like, "How the fuck did you get here without the materia system?" I think we can agree, even though that guy got to the end of the game, he was playing it wrong.
Yeah.
And I strongly recommend that video series. It's pretty awesome.
Is Tim Rogers, is he one of those creators which I have a beef against for some reason?
I don't see why you would have a beef against him.
No, but I have so many beefs, Daniel. You never know.
You have a butcher shop.
You're like one of those dwarves in Warhammer who have a book of grudges where they write down every single person and nation that has wronged them. Except your grudges aren't strong enough that you actually remember.
I'm like Richard Nixon. He had an enemies list. That's such a great joke in The Simpsons, where it's like, "Hey, this is Richard Nixon's enemies list. You just crossed out his name and wrote yours."
Okay, so I went ahead and licked it. Let's Mosey, a slow translation.
I love how, once again, my audio has been muted because you sent something in the goddamn chat.
I don't understand this whole like, "Oh, my audio gets muted" thing. Like, I literally don't understand it.
It does. It's weird. I'll have to fix it for the next recording.
I mean, yeah, that's on you, buddy. But it's literally a 14-part series. Luckily, most of the videos are only like 10 minutes until towards the end, where it gets like 40 minutes. But like, it's really good. Give it a watch. It'll grant you a much deeper appreciation for Final Fantasy VII's writing when you realize just how borked the original translation was.
All right, then. Do we have anything to announce before closing the video off?
As far as what? As like future projects?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I have 4 scripts that are done. They're done. I'm too lazy to edit them. So I just need to like smack myself around a bit and just like fucking do them. So there's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Four potential videos that are just kind of languishing. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. That's interesting. I just released the Sekiro commentary, and now I'm taking a well-deserved time off from YouTube. I'll probably be back in a couple of months.
All right.
Well,
I must ask
probably.
you this question. I have to
Yes.
ask you this.
Yes.
If I watch your Sekiro commentary, will that make me better at Sekiro? Can I learn how to play Sekiro correctly?
Yeah, probably. I do it with the Bell Demon and without Kuro's Charm. The highest possible difficulty in the game. And I died so many times. I recorded...
Did you leave in those deaths in the video?
Some of them. I recorded a 30-hour playthrough, and the video is like a bit over 6 hours. So... that's how things went.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I suppose I'll be going to the Armored Core games or something after my break. Bogan, do you have anything to announce?
Nope.
Well,
Will you be going back to World of Warcraft?
I am playing World of Warcraft right now.
oh my god damn.
What?
But there's a new patch coming. It's out.
No, no, none of this.
Shut up!
What are you? What? Of course I'm raiding.
Shut up about a new patch in World of Warcraft.
You
Get outta
asked
here.
if I'm playing World of Warcraft, and obviously I'm playing World of Warcraft when there's new
It was
content.
a joke question.
Yeah.
Why is it a joke? It's still a fun game, and I love raiding.
Didn't you like swear off World of Warcraft when all those employees were stealing breast milk?
No.
Oh.
That was
You
so
heard it here.
weird. That was so weird.
Uh,
Those
Anyways.
fucking
I mean,
animals
to be fair, it's
at Blizzard.
morally questionable to still be playing World of Warcraft, but they've been taken over by Microsoft now. It's fine.
I thought you were gonna
on his way out.
I thought you were gonna go like, it's morally questionable to steal breast milk. But yeah,
mean,
Big Dick
you're
Phil
not
Spencer is gonna be taking over. It's gonna be cool. Anyways, that's all for today's episode. Talk to you later, boys.
Losers.
Losers. Hey, Daniel.
Yeah?
Have you played Elden Ring yet?
Yes.
Yeah, you know about how there's a giant golden Erd tree?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you're a giant nerd tree.
I
got him, everyone.
Shit.
I got him. I didn't even have to set
can-
up for that one. That came just
I
organically.
can never show my face ever again.
No. And also, I burnt you with that joke. Oh!
End this quickly.
Bye-bye, everyone.
I need to fan the flames before
Bye-bye.
I die.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.